असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्माम् अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness of ignorance to light of knowledge, and from death to immortality. Dear friends, there is a joke attributed to Winston Churchill that once he was asked about which pet he would love, and he said, "Look, I prefer a pig." And the reason he gave was, the dog looks up to you, cat looks down upon you, a pig treats you as its equal. So that is why I like pig. So this brings me to the important topic of today, that discovering the equality. Equality certainly is one of the most prominently present urge in us. Sometimes it is very emphatically expressed, sometimes not so emphatically. Sometimes it gets covered with many other urges in life, but nevertheless it doesn't die at all. As we saw in the last lines, there is this commitment. We said that we pledge a covenant to stand together with people of all races and all nations and so forth, because we feel a sense of equality, a sense that is kind of inborn, as has been put in the American Declaration of Independence by Thomas Jefferson, announced on July 4th, 1776. 1776, right, thank you. So, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and these include life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That we take it as self-evident truth. That means it doesn't require any further proof. We all are created equal by the Creator. All men are equal. This is being a self-evident truth. It gets every now and then we see its spark coming in our heart. Yes, all are equal. It gives us a sense of nobility, a sense of our being present in the truth, that yes, all are equal. And it gives us that satisfaction when we treat people, we treat everybody as equal. This is certainly a very high ideal, though. Treating and understanding this principle, expressing it in every walk of our life, that all are equal. Is there equality seen around? If we try to find, this statement is appealing, no doubt, that all are created equal. But do we actually see the equality? If we look around, everything is different from other, things are unequal. No two things are really equal. It is no two persons are really equal. Where do we see that equality? Do we measure their heights? No, they will find not equal. Do we measure their IQs? Will that be finding equal? No, they will not be equal. If we look at their skills, do we find that everybody has the same skills, same musical skills, same mathematical skills, and so forth? No. Not same are great athletes. Not all have the same habits. They are not equal at all. So why do we say that this is a self-evident truth that all men are created equal? Where do we find this equality? And also, we have another feeling in us. It is that obstructs this expression of equality. And that feeling is, I am superior to others. That also cannot be easily erased. I am superior to others. Even in maintaining equality, we try to express that nobody maintains this idea of equality as good as I do, so I am superior to others. Nobody is as humble as I am, so I am superior to others. Nobody is as virtuous as others, so I am superior to others. This feeling also is there, and the struggle between the two is going on. And so therefore, although this was in 1776, this was declared in the Declaration of Independence that it is the self-evident truth. What happens? In mid-1960s, almost after 200 years, Martin Luther King Jr. declares in that very forceful speech that, now I have to say to you today, my friends, even though we face difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed, that all men are created equal. It is a struggle, friends. It is easy to say, yes, we say that these truths are self-evident. All men are created equal. And actually, when things were being put in place, that was applied only to men. Women were not included in that. They didn't have the voting rights till much later. The slave population was not included. They were not men, so it is not included in this process of democracy. In democracy, this is a main principle on which it works, that all are equal. Whatever may be your other qualifications, whatever may be your position in the society otherwise, like a learned man or an ignorant person, you may be very rich or very poor. In spite of all these considerations, each of us will get only one vote. We are all treated equally in that respect. But does it, maybe at that election booth, we all are equal. But do we all enjoy the same benefits in life? If we look around, no. Some have to suffer a lot more than others. Some people do not get enough subsistence to survive also. Some people are rolling enriches. Some others do not have even a roof on their head. There is so much of inequality. And so, where is this equality that we feel inside to be found? It needs to be discovered. Uh, the equality that we all feel needs to be actually searched. And that searching takes some efforts, both mentally, physically. We have to work hard to mold our lives, to feel and to realize this equality. Where do we see this equality? In terms of our, the secular building up of society, from ancient times there have been efforts by thinkers and those who had been feeling very much about implementing these ideas of equality in our social structure, putting them into the social fabric. They have tried hard to put in systems so that not one person will be able to take all the privileges depriving others. And just as democracy is one such attempt, there is another attempt which was tried in late 19th century, that is late 1800s, by Karl Marx. The idea that yes, it got expressed as socialism, that all of us are really equal. Everybody should get equal these money. Money is where he focused, because everybody should get equal money, whatever their abilities be. Somebody can be a very good teacher, somebody will be able to manage a big business empire, but irrespective of that, whether you are a skilled carpenter or whether you are an unskilled laborer, all should get the same wages. And nobody shall get anything more than others. A principle of equality is involved there, that irrespective of the differences in the skills, differences in their, the beginning, some get a good start, some do not get a good start. There might be differences in their mental and physical abilities, yet let all be given same amount of money. And why Marx emphasized on money? A very interesting argument that money is the power to get things that will make one happy. If I have money, then I feel that I can buy all these things that may make my life more comfortable. And just as in this American Declaration of Independence, pursuit of happiness is equal right for everyone. So, if money is seen as the means for that happiness, let everybody be given equal means. And he tried, that there were many countries where this idea was tried to a great extent. It was actually tried everywhere, implemented in many places, even in the American social structure also. It had its impact, and that helped a lot in improving the financial condition of the laborers. If you go to the Slater Mill, a museum, very interesting story. You can hear that how the children laborers were treated, how everyone was, those workers, they were given minimum, just to not let them die, that's all. Because if they die, they will not have laborers. So they have to be kept alive. But would be given just enough to keep to remain alive, would be made to work hard for 16, 17 hours. It was said that they changed the clock also for that, that it will be 7 o'clock when it is actually 6 o'clock. And then they would be working, 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 and think that now it places, this took the form of revolution, and yes, the government of the proletariat, the workers' government. Everybody is equal. But as I told, it has to, this spirit of equality has to struggle a lot against another idea. I am somehow superior to others. I am a better person after all than others. And that gets associated with the privileges that I should have, which others should not have. And therefore, you see that George Orwell's satirical novel about that animal farm. Uh, it is a very nice commentary of what ultimately transpires even in the systems that were meant on to stand on equality and sameness. It is shown that yes, it was the superior animal there. Pig was became the most superior animal, and so it started that suppressing all others. And a horse was made to work hard, and then he questioned why you are, if all are equal, then why, see, you are getting all these things, nice things to eat, we are not. And he was sternly told, yes, all are equal, but some are more equal than others. Yes, it comes out somehow that all are equal, but some are more equal. In India, some years back, I was that there is that election, and it is the system in India is kind of funny. Here you have only two parties mainly to fight it out. In India, there are hundreds of parties which come into election, fray of election, and keep on vying for, and then each party again gets internally split. That this faction and that faction and that faction. So, Communist Party, there is a Communist Party in India also. Now, it used to be a one party long, long back. Then that got split into two. Then one of them got split into, in 1980s, I was reading the election commissions, that names of the parties, and there were about over a dozen communist parties listed. So all are equal, but I am different from that communist party. No, that is different. Ours is different. So even for a party that says that yes, we all should have only equal rights, yet equality is very difficult to attain. Because the obvious that perception that we all have is that of inequality. Men are different from women. Yes, animals are different from men. Plants are again different from animals. Each human being is again different from another human being. In fact, if you go down further, each molecule will be in some respect different from another molecule. Each electron also will be different from another electron in some respect or other. And that is, the two things, by very virtue of their being two, cannot be equal in all respects, otherwise it will be one. Logically, it cannot be two unless there is at least one characteristic that is that one of them has and other doesn't have. Then only you can have that two, otherwise you will not have two. What is the difference between this and this? Well, the difference is this and this is this. You are showing it as different, that is enough to say that they are different. So, it is, therefore, obviously there is so much of differentiation that we cannot overlook. And in the midst of that, when we see all this differentiation, everybody is dressed differently. Everybody has a different face. If everybody has the same face, it will be a terrible situation. And that all are equal, so let everybody have same face. It will create a very funny situation. And just as our faces are different, so also our mind, the face of our minds are also equally different. Equally, say I am using the word equally. It is equally different. That it is, every mind is different. Again, every mind in the morning is one, in the afternoon another. Today you get the news, something good has happened, you netted a very nice job, you got that job, happy. And then the problems of that job start coming from next day, you become sad. So it keeps on shifting. You are not equal even in yourself, the moods are different, which you are really talking about, that I am so and so. Even your own 100 pictures, they are not equal. What to speak of others? So, externally speaking, there is all this tremendous diversity and unequality. In the midst of that, each of us is trying to show the superiority over others too. May not be consciously, but unconsciously that goes on, as I mentioned right in the beginning, that I am superior to others. And so, this quest has to be taken at a deeper level. On the superficial level, there is no way one can ever attain to this dream. This will remain only a dream. What M.L. King Jr. mentioned as, I have a dream. Each of us can dream that dream, that one day it will become a reality. All are created equal. To perceive this truth actually, where they are equal, needs to be found out. When we can find out that where all of us are equal, then we will be able to see this truth and then accordingly behave. This is a simple and complicated exercise both together. It is a simple exercise. What we need to do is just find out where we are not same, where we are not equal. Just as I mentioned, that our faces are not same, our heights are not same. To generalize, our bodies are not same. Now, are we the body? If we take a penetrative look, we can easily see this, that we are not the bodies. And the bodies, for two reasons, we can see that we are not the bodies. At least two reasons. Many more reasons can be there. But one reason is that the body is also perceived, seen as this microphone and this light and everything around. Just as they are seen, this body also is seen. And therefore, it is an object of perception, not the perceiver, not I who is perceiving. I, the perceiver, is not the body. So, even though there are differences at the physical level, at the level of body, since I am not body, those differences really make no sense. Those differences do not touch me. And so, in spite of those differences, I can be equal. We can all be equal. Because what creates inequality? I am not that. It is the superficial inequality that I need not be worried. Just as we do not pay much attention to the inequality in the attire. Okay, you like that attire, I like that attire. Okay, and you like blue color, I like green color, fine. We do not pay much importance to that inequality. Okay, in spite of that we can be equal. So, the body is just an inner attire, inner clothing that we have put on even below, even under our inner clothings. This body is just an inner clothing. So we are not that either. It is, we are not that inner clothing either. The body, we are not that body. So therefore, the inequality in body should not cause any problem in the perception of equality of ourselves. Yes, our attires are different, our bodies are different, still we can be all equal. One may say, but our thoughts also are different. Okay, let us come to that. Our minds also are not I. They are also perceived. Oh, I didn't tell you the other reason for we are not bodies. I told you first and then got into other discussion. The second reason that is mentioned in Vedanta very often, that look, the body changes all the time. I remain unchanged. And the body is continuous. It is, what is the body? It is the sequence of chemical reactions going on that gets called as body. It is, and if we take a penetrative look at it, we will not like to associate ourselves with body at all. As such, we think, yes, I am this nice person. What is it? It is a sack made of skin. In that the blood and the bones and the number one, number two, everything is put there. And that sack, are we that? No, I don't want to be that, you see. It is, we are really not that, fortunately, friends. So, we are not this sack of skin filled with all these things. So, I am not the body, I am the unchanging perceiver of this changing, passing matter. So therefore, that is another reason that body changes, I do not change. Body is perceived, I am perceiver. And so the same things apply to our mind also. See the mind just as I can see the body, and not with these eyes, but I mean, we feel that this thought came to my mind, and so it is different than I. It is, we don't say I mind, that means it is not I, my mind. So it is my and not I. It is something that we perceive separate from us. So uh, our minds may be different, they may not have the same capabilities. And yet, since I am not mind, those inequalities need not cause problem in perception of the inherent equality in all of us. We can still have this perception of equality, just as if we fill water from the faucet in 10 bottles. The bottles may be different, different sizes, different colors, and yet we can say they are same in the sense that they have the same water. We say this, that look, all the animal crackers we have different shapes. Mm. Some is elephant, some is a rabbit, and yet all are same if we taste them. In taste, you are not eating either an elephant or a rabbit. You can still be a vegetarian by eating either elephant or rabbit, doesn't matter, because they are just shapes there. Although they look different, they are really equal in their content. So, if we see remove the bodies, they are not equal, okay. But I am not that. Remove the mind because I am not that. And then, what is there that is unequal in us? Then we are equal. And because we are truly that spirit, that being the essence of our existence, we feel that constant feeling that yes, we are all equal. Why we consider that this as a fundamental truth, self-evident truth, because in essence we are equal. And the challenge is to live according to the essence and not according to the changing attributes, not according to the non-essential. Just as it is not right to evaluate the skills of a person just by looking at the attire. I know some time back, a person was thought to be, he is an ordinary this thing. What can he look at his dress? Was very shabbily clothed. Did not all such dirty clothing and all, and so people used to think that he is not a really intelligent, worthy, good person, because you go by dress, you go by what is put on. So, but that person is a great mathematician. The person who, the man who solved that Fermat's last theorem. That man, he was a student here, he was doing doctorate, Russian guy. And then he solved that problem. unsolved for many centuries. And then he proved it. But his attire and all was like a very, very shabby looking. He was not, in that sense, a social person. He was offered a big award. He refused to accept it. He was given professorship. He refused to accept it. Because, well, he inside, yes, in his mind there is lot of wisdom, but we treat people according to how they are dressed, how their outer appearance is. So we understand that outer appearance should not be the means of judgment, but we take that outer appearance to be the indicator of inner worth. And this is why we do not see the equality. If we are able to transcend the appearance, either physical or mental, intellectual, these are all appearances, changing phenomena. If we transcend these, then we will be able to see the equality. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a very famous verse. In Bhagavad Gita, it is told that to see equality is yoga. One of the definitions of yoga, to see the sameness, samatvam. The word same in English has come from the Sanskrit word sama. It is samatvam yoga uchyate, to see the sameness in everything is yoga. So it is a matter of practice. Look at that inner core. Wisdom lies there, not to get deluded by appearances, but see the inner content. That is what even in our day-to-day life we consider as the sign of wisdom. That the foolish people, like we comprise of that. That is how all these businesses survive, because they depend on our foolishness. That they can make big promises and we will read that, and then underneath all that fine prints and all we won't read. So we will say sign on the dotted lines, and later on we feel, hey, all this, I did not read this. Then what can be done? Why did you sign without reading? So it is, we get deluded by the appearances. So we have to learn not to get deluded by the appearances. The appearances are to be seen and are to be respected at the level of appearance. The challenge is not to consider them beyond that reference frame. For example, if you have the animal crackers, and if a child tells you, if child says, I want to eat elephant, you need not go on giving him a big lecture about, no, elephant is same as dog. No, elephant for that, in that context, elephant is not same as dog. It is at that level, elephant is different from dog. So we have to maintain the distinctions at the level where those distinctions apply. But we should be flexible enough to not to emphasize the distinction when that reference is gone. When we are to see the worth, the essential aspect of every creature, every being, whether human or animal or plant or even what we call inanimate, in all of them we have to see the inner essence as same, identical, the divine. Each soul is potentially divine. In Bhagavad Gita, the statement comes, uh, on one hand, very intriguing statement, and on the other hand, emphasizing this tremendous equality in a very simple manner. The verse goes like this: Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastine Shunichaiva Shvapake Pandita Samadarshinaha. That Panditaha means those who are wise and well versed with this scriptural science. They see that a very holy person, well versed in scriptures, and is very humble also. All the great virtues are there in such a wonderful person. Then in a cow, in an elephant, in a pig, in a dog, and in the worst kind of a person, in all, this person, this illumined persons, he sees the same one being. The attention is not on the body, they are different. Attention is not on their physical or mental capabilities, they are different. But you have to penetrate and go beyond these names and forms. At the level of names and forms, things are not equal. They are different from each other. But transcending the names and forms, and let us all cherish this dream, friends. Let us say, like Martin Luther King Jr., that yes, I have a dream to see this equality by transcending the names and forms. That is the way that we can realize, we can experience this equality. Just as how do we discover equality in all the animal crackers? If we look at the shapes, they certainly are different. And accordingly they have names also, elephant and rabbit and all that. So they have names and forms which are different. But as babies don't go beyond names and forms. But at least grown-ups are expected at least to go beyond that and say that yes, they are all same. Yes, in the case of animal crackers, we grow up soon enough to see that they are really same. But in all these names and forms, do we have that transcendence to go beyond and see that irrespective of differences in appearance and differences in names, we are really equal in spirit, equal in our essence. We are one and the same. And when we do this, a very surprising thing happens. Very surprising. I mentioned it in the beginning that our quest to perceive equality gets obstructed by our other quest that I am superior to the other people. That idea does not allow us to practice equality. Yes, maybe I believe in equality. Yes, I have read the Declaration of Independence. We are all equal. But look at that person. How can I be equal to that person? Do you mean that I should vote this person? No, I will not. It is equality. Is not taken actually in practice, because I feel, yes, all are equal, but I am special. All others, while they could be equal, I am special. And this also is a feeling that is almost impossible to shake off. Let us be clear about it. That is why, at the superficial level, it is so difficult to see this equality. Because if that is equal, where is my superiority? Where is my speciality? I am special. Everybody feels I am special. That is why somebody was telling the other day that in English, therefore, we write I as capital, in the uppercase always, I. Others are all lowercase fine. I is in the written as capital. I am special always. So, how this feeling of superiority can go away? When we see that inner equality, what happens is that I see I am the supreme, because it is there I am supreme really. I am divine. Who can be greater than God? I am divine. I am actually, in truth, God Himself. I am divine. And so I am supreme. And this transcendental supreme does not come in any conflict with the spirit of equality. Because there is now no such idea that I am divine and you are less than divine. No. I and you and everyone, each soul is divine. Somewhere the manifestation may be more, somewhere the manifestation may be less, but that does not obstruct the feeling of equality pulsating in that person, because the divinity is seen. I am divine. And when we come to that divine, I am supreme. And at the same time, I discover the equality. Both are simultaneous. Discovering my true nature, that is divine, and perceiving that that is all-pervading. That is the nature, true nature of everyone. We come at that realization. Like all waves are equal. In what sense? They are not equal as waves. But when you look at the ocean, then you see that in essence, after all, what is a wave? It is a continuously shifting, changing form that the ocean takes there. So, its real nature is ocean, and that is the biggest. No wave can be as big as ocean. So that is the greatest. And when I realize that I am superior, I am the supreme, I am not superior, that would be a wrong statement. I have to use superlative there. I am supreme. And everything is supreme too. So there is no comparison there. I am the supreme, and all are equal. The contradiction between the two vanishes there. And it is here that we see also that all religions are trying to teach this. Because when we see this, we realize the goal of life. When we see this truth, this is a very nice book, one. Essential writings on non-duality from all different faiths. It is edited by Jerry Kaz. So, you see, I'll just quote a couple of them which tell both, that how this equality is essential, and secondly, the process of how to discover it. It is the first is from Ibn Arabi, a great Sufi teacher, Ibn Arabi. So, Ibn Arabi was one of the oldest Sufi teachers, and he says here that look, in the name of Allah, the Merciful, the One who is visible with all His beautiful names and attributes in the realm of images, he who knows himself knows his Lord. That is the other saying, that he who knows himself knows his Lord. All praise and thanks to Allah Almighty, the first with no other before Him. He is the only first, and there is no last but His oneness. The end is with Him alone. He is the end. He is all existing. With Him there is no end. Neither is there nearness or farness, nor is there a will or wish, or time, or above, or below, or place. Neither is there a universe. Allah is now as He was before. He is eternal. He is one without oneness, and alone without loneliness. He is not named with a name, for it is He whose name is He. It is a very interesting statement. In the Upanishads you find a very similar statement, that its name is that. And that, because that in everything there is that. Any such pronoun, there is noun and pronoun. So noun has a particular object. Pronouns can be changed to anything. So it is, therefore pronouns are used for that. The self-named one. There is no name other than He, and none other than He is named. He is the first without anything before Him. He is the last without anything after Him. He is visible in all that is seen. A very important statement, friend. He is the visible in all that is seen. How do we identify something? If I see, say here, I see Paul. Now, when I say I see Paul, I am actually transcending the attire that he has put on. I am transcending even the particular appearance that he has put on today. And so, since I have known him for many years now, so what I am really referring to when I take his name, when I see him, I am seeing the divine. This is where the saints reach to find equality, that you transcend the appearance. So, He is this visible in all that is seen. He is known clearly in all that is hidden. He is in all forms and images without any relation to any appearance. So here in this Sufi saying, you discover this equality. And then I'll quote a dialogue with a disciple by Buddha. Buddha is talking to a disciple, and this is what is very famously known as the Diamond Sutra. In the Diamond Sutra, this disciple is Shubhuti. And this Shubhuti, he is asking the questions about what is the nature of the illumined one, the Tathagata. What is the nature of Buddha? And then Buddha is asking, that would you know him by these Shubhuti, what do you think? Would there be many molecules in the composition of 3,000 galaxies of the worlds, Shubhuti said, many indeed, world-honored one. The manyness is there, so many molecules. Shubhuti, the Tathagata declares that all these molecules are not really such. They are called molecules. The Tathagata declares that a world is not really a world. It is merely called a world. Shubhuti, what do you think? May the Tathagata be perceived by the 32 physical peculiarities? The peculiarities like, the man has a bent nose or whatever you say. There's 32 peculiarities. I am not going into the details. So by that you can identify, see that like when you go on the plane and then that screening goes on, then there are so many things that are recorded about you. That is like this, like this, like this. They put that light beam into your eye and see if that is same, and so forth. So it is, and then in your appearance they remove the unessential aspect and hold to the essential aspect. Your photograph may be when you have put a black coat. But when you are at the security check there, you are wearing maybe just a white shirt. But then that does not make that person at the desk to disqualify you. No, you are, because that person is transcending the appearance, that aspect of appearance. So, Buddha says, ask him, will you identify me or a Buddha like that? And then the Shubhuti replies, no, world-honored one, Tathagata may not be perceived by these 32 marks. Wherefore, because Tathagata has explained that the 32 marks are not really such, they are called 32 marks. It is only you give a name to the continuously changing things. Shubhuti, if on the one hand a good man or a good woman sacrifices as many lives as the sand grains of the Ganges, see how many lives are to be sacrificed, he takes it to the extreme just to make the point. Shubhuti, if on the one hand a good man or a good woman sacrifices as many lives as the sand grains of the Ganges, and on the other hand anyone receives and retains even only 4 lines of this discourse and teaches and explains them to others, the merit of the latter will be greater. So let us imbibe this truth, that the attributes are not the essential things. And if we let us learn to apply this, while respecting the attribute when we are dealing with the attribute. If I say, Naresh ji, please come, and if somebody else comes, I will not call him Naresh ji, saying that all are same, you see. No, it is, no, there you respect the attribute because you are dealing at the level of attribute. But when it comes to the essential nature, do not superimpose attributes there. There, learn to go beyond the attributes. Thus, we will discover the equality, and at the same time, we will see that we have become supreme thereby. So, thank you, friends.